Alrighty, hey everybody. So if you're just joining me, that's my dog barking. That's cool. So this is a mock. Holy smokes, what does mock stand for? My own creation. So I've never been fully satisfied with this mock, and that's the whole point of a mock, is to never, ever be satisfied with a mock. You can always make improvements on it. You can always build it back up or bring it back down. However really you want to do it. So the cool part about Love is that, well, we're going to mess around with the build today. We're going to mess around with it. We're going to take it apart, and then tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, Jeff is going to build it back up. Who's Jeff? I'm Jeff. So from there, once we get that done, we're just breaking this down today right now, it should be good to go. So I am new to streaming entirely, so I apologize if I'm not quick with reading the comments, if I ever get any comments or an audience of any sort, either or. It's a glorious day in Oklahoma. It's rainy, it's cold. This is the perfect day to exist as far as I'm concerned. That being said, so the first thing I took part of this mock was the light. The light comes in the extras pack. It's not rocket science. It's a street light. Some flowers that my wife made. Wife, girlfriend, fiance, girl I live with, woman of my life. So this is May Parker with an ice cream cone sitting on a bench. I like to add some scenery to my mocks and tell some sort of story. So obviously sitting outside some sort of building. Up top, we've got a drone coming in to investigate the guy who's doing his job. Because if you've ever done any contract work before at a person's house, they will come and inspect what you're doing. But nobody wants to climb up to this roof. For one, there's no way up to this roof because I never made it that way. And for two, drones are cool. So even in the back, I tried to make a little bit of something with a trash bin or a trash pile back there, and it didn't happen that well, but that's okay. Next time, my microphone will fall over, and I will catch it like a ninja. For a big dude, I can move. That being said, this is going to get reformulated, so it's not that great. When I first did this, I was so proud of it, and I was like, man, this is Art Deco, it's beautiful. And the front of this is cool. I've had a couple of people tell me the front of that mock is excellent, but I think the rest of it is poo-poo. So what I want to do is make it not poo-poo and make it just a little bit better. It's not modular at all. It's more like a brick, and it's really just bricks on bricks on bricks. There's nothing complicated about how it was built or whatever technique was used. The only thing that might be sort of technique is the air conditioning unit upstairs that I built, which I'm pretty sure I ripped off from a Batman set, like a Lego movie Batman set. So we got that going for me. So I've got this clear box where I'm going to toss most of my parts in with the trash cans, and I believe they're called refuse piles, whatever you want to call it. We're going to toss some of this stuff in here, and most of the parts that I will be taking off will be coming from here to there. But it does give me a chance to rework a mock, which I am always a fan of doing. Part of my philosophy with mock building is mocks are never done. They'll never, ever be done. You can say, I am satisfied with this result, but you can never rest easy with it being done. So to add a little bit of flair on the outside, a little bit of decoration, I put it down a universal flag for the most part. I do live in the United States, so I wanted to make it representative of the United States flag, which is the stars and bars and all that fun stuff. So obviously this building is very patriotic in some sort, as an office building would be. Most office buildings do in fact have the old stars and bars up front. So as you can tell with this wonderful design, oh God, what did I even do here? This roof is your basic roof. I made it smooth to make it feel like it's smooth, but really it's not that great. At the time I didn't have any of those bricks, of the grooved bricks there, the mortar bricks, and I was doing the best that I could with what I had. That situation has changed drastically, as I have a plastic bag somewhere in my Lego collection of red and gray bricks that are mortar bricks. So tomorrow, expect some fascinating changes. I'm going to put that in there for now. So I tried to make the roof, at least that part, very modular. So all I had to do was just rip it off, as you just saw. Not a whole lot of connection points. That's also a big thing when you're doing something modular. So a modular building is different than like a normal building, like the police stations and the hospitals and yada shmata that we've gotten from Lego over the years. They'll make it so that every part is connected like this, like it's one solid brick, right? But on the roof of a modular building, you'll want to make this the sides smooth, and then have a couple of connection points throughout the build itself. That way, you can lift each floor off. The blue and tan house that I've showed before on a couple of other people's streams, Boom Build, Fazoom's thing, Kevin Hinkle's old stream. I can't think of anything else. My old streams that I used to do on Peculiar Interests, just stuff like that. I showed off how, the ceiling rim, the rim of the building needs to be smooth so that you can effectively take things apart. There's pieces in there. Holy crap, there's like a little scene in here I did. All right, cool. So that's funny. And I have no rhyme or reason as to where and how I'm putting these parts away. I'm just throwing these parts in the bin, followed up with taking it all down, breaking it all down. This way, tomorrow night, when I'm building with Joey and we're doing our Just Jam session, I believe I've grown as a builder enough so that I can remodulate and replan what I'm doing and how I'm doing it so it doesn't look as silly as it did. One of the reasons that I am breaking this down is because I did not like it all that much anymore. I'm looking up at my other buildings that I've made, which are a total of 3, counting this one, of the 2 buildings that I have up there, which is the blue and tan house as well as the 3-story police station. And I was just not happy with how this looked or anything like that. We are going to change up the colors just a little bit tomorrow night as well. As I said, I've got a bunch of gray and red mortar bricks that I'll be using to modify the whole kit and caboodle. So if you're watching this later, as most people probably will, I'm guessing, I really do appreciate you stopping by. And if you're here now and I'm not paying attention, because I'm not good at paying attention, and I apologize. So, bringing down the top here, you could be delicate about it, and you could be, I gotta pick these parts down very specifically. But instead, what I'm going to do is just take them all off, because, it might look good on the outside sometimes, and a lot of mock builders might say this, or I might be the only one, but sometimes function beats out form, or form beats function. So a lot of this has been like, man, I hope this works, or man, I hope this looks how I want it to. And at the time that I was building this, I achieved, man, I hope this works, or man, I hope this looks how it works. And I was very happy with that. But now that I've got my big boy Lego pants on, and I've been doing a lot more building, a lot more experimenting with parts, a lot more looking at things and talking to builders that far outshine me. I'm not saying that nobody, how do I say this about there are people that know how to build differently than I do, and I have been speaking with them in regards to how to build differently as well. It sounds good, right? Okay. So, I know this is about as interesting as watching paint dry, so I'll try to make it as entertaining as I can. Won't bust out the dad jokes yet, so we're good to go there. I do know I recently became a patron of Mr. Hinkle Draws. If you don't know who Mr. Hinkle is, get out from the rock you're under and go check out Mr. Hinkle Draws. Mr. Hinkle Draws is a former employee of Lego, so he knows all of the company secrets, or at least 1 or 2. But he doesn't ever talk about them, and you shouldn't ask because that's just rude. But now he is a freelance artist. And as a freelance artist, he makes with the pictures and does all the things, and he does some streaming. And so every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, on his channel, Mr. Hinkle Draws, whether it be on Twitch or on the YouTubes, you'll catch Mr. Hinkle drawn to a specific reason. This Friday, as a matter of fact, is Halloween. So if you've ever wondered what is Halloween, we'll find out. So that way you can say, this is Halloween, this is Halloween. At least according to a stream you watched. And that's, all that really matters in the scheme of things. So we're going to keep on breaking all of this down. I used a lot of crazy pieces, or at least crazy pieces for me at the time, and a lot of outside the boxy box thinking, at least for me at the time. And like I said before, all I was doing was going for a specific look. I kept on running out of gray because my gray was being used for something at the time. And since then, I have actually organized all of my bricky bricks. Not all of my Lego, but my bricky bricks. So that will make things easier tomorrow evening when I build. And I'd have to cut some corners in order to make it look the way that I would like it to look. I will be interesting, I promise. I will be interested to see what I come up with tomorrow night using these same exact parts. And we're going to go over a short build technique right now. So buckle up. All right, so a facade is the front of a building, usually decorated, not mentioning the rest of the building. But this, I have the power. This is my facade. The facade is very nice and very gentle, and it looks very welcoming. You can even see the bar now, because there's plenty of light coming through. This was the scene. It was literally just a floor with a plant, like a badly built plant. That's what happens when I do any sort of plant or anything like that. Emily, as I mentioned her before, is the one that handles that. Don't ask me to build a plant. I'm not your guy. But I do know the basics of building plants, and I've watched some good guides, and I've copied those movements, and I've decided to make them my own. Yay! Oh, okay. So, I'm almost done with the breakdown here. I am using my nails and hands and fingers, sausage fingers, like a heathen. I do have a brick separator here, so that's a plus. So hopefully I can get these brown pieces up without my brick separator still, as you can tell. I am a recluse and do not clip my fingernails, apparently. So that's cool. There's a whole lot of brown in here. Like, what was I thinking? I think I wanted to build this into a bank, and I wanted to have it with my superhero theme that I was doing at the time. And it just didn't happen. So that's one other little Jeff tip I'll give you. Don't be afraid to leave something not finished. Like, sometimes you need to stop, you need to pause, you need to look at things, you need to go, that's not working. Just like in life, as long as you don't work for a nuclear factory or reaction like the power plant, if you take your time and you stop and you think and you approach something from a different angle, 9 times out of 10 you will complete the thing you are trying to complete. Because at the time you are focused, sometimes your brain does not work the way that you would like it to. Wow, that thing flew, didn't it? So that flew behind my spaceship over here that I don't have on camera because everybody's seen it. I'm going to show something off here pretty soon that I am pretty proud of. All right, so that's the back. The front covers up the ugliness of the back. But that was the build for a long time. I was really proud of this build. I still kind of am proud of this build. I liked the round edges on it. I liked how I did the windows. But what we're going to do tomorrow is going to change things up slightly so that it looks more like a building that I would like rather than this will work for now. Plus, I get to use all my sand green for this. All the sand green that I take away from this today, I get to put in tomorrow. So it's kind of like Christmas. Sort of. Or Hanukkah. Kwanzaa? I don't know. It's that time of year, and I'm pretty excited about using it. If you don't celebrate those things, it's holiday time. I'm rambling. All right, so this is probably one of my favorite elements Lego's ever made. The round coney things that were used back in the Pirates days as cannonballs. They make awesome awesome scenery pieces, like on the set of a building, the set of a spaceship, whatever, used in mocks to show off certain degrees or show off some roundness. I love these things so very much. If you don't have any, I suggest that you invest in at least 100,000. And I also used these bricks in place of mortar bricks because I liked the indentation right here. But I think what I will be doing is putting these bricks around the roof tomorrow night, so that way it gives the illusion that it has a step or a dip there. There's also some things that I would like to do with the little round 1x1 tiles that I have, and I'm hoping I can. So we'll find out. I have very many bricks, but they are all bricks that are very 2x1 or 6x1 or however you would like to think about it. I don't have a lot of cool piece bricks, I guess. I got a lot of headlight bricks and things like that, and maybe one day I'll actually have my room more organized so that people can take a look and go, "Ooh, that guy's doing a room tour. You can check that out, and it'll be great, and everyone will be happy." And you'll go, "Well, I can check that room tour list off the list of YouTube things." The door was also very simple too, and gave it the illusion of it being rounded on the sides. That's always been uneven, and that bothers me a whole lot right now. Holy smokes, what was I thinking when I built this? Regardless, the door opens. There's your play feature. Yay! Already. And on the inside of the door, like I said, I was trying to make it into a bank. And a little security door on the inside, so that in case something did go wrong, they can close the security gate, or trap people in, or just shut up for the night. The city that I had in mind was much like Gotham City, where why would people live there? So much crime. Which I believe somebody said can be the same for Lego City. Lego City has people falling in rivers. Lego City has criminals literally running amok and ripping ATMs out of buildings, which is not good. It's not a safe thing to do. Don't ever do that. Next up, we've got all of these tiles to remove, even the tile pattern that I made, because I'm creative. It's a very basic tile pattern there, and that's okay. But it was designed to indicate that, hey, you are entering a business, I guess. Maybe a welcome mat? I don't know what I was thinking. This thing was made in Arizona before I moved to the wonderful state of Oklahoma, which was a year ago or more, and then modified in Arizona as well. It was modified here. I don't remember. My memory sucks. So, much like when you deal with life and you break down a mock, at least as part of my treatment for mental health, will start breaking down the bad things that are in your head, like the bad memories, the bad this, the bad that. Okay? So you throw the parts away, you're throwing the memories away, or at least you're learning to move on from those memories, which is something that not a lot of people can do these days. 2020 has been a heck of a year for everyone under the sun, unless you live in New Zealand. Props to New Zealand. Because, yeah, spot on, guys. But here in America, on September 22nd, today, our death toll keeps going up. A lot of stress about that, especially if you interpret the other feelings of others through body language, through whatever. But it's really just sad days all around. So you can think about those things. You can get that negativity out of your head by breaking down a mock. This is the base plate that I use. I'll continue to use this base plate, and it will be to the side like so. So that way I can build again. So typically when you're building a modular building, you're getting a free tip right now instead of tomorrow. Consider yourself lucky, audience that isn't here. So what you'll do is you'll go 6 in. You'll go 6 studs in. That way you have 6 studs for sidewalk. That way you have 6 studs for whatever else you want to add in. From there, you'll start your building. Your building can have that facade that I talked about earlier. Facade just seems like a silly word, side note. So you'll have your facade, but your facade can also be crazy stretched out. If you want to check out the Brick Bakery, and you want to check out Bevan's Builds, he has some excellent tips on building, as well as how to make uneven, straight-lined buildings. Tomorrow night, my plan is to make not a straight-lined building, much like this was, but a little bit more exasperated, a little bit more engaging. So that way it does not look like brick A went into brick B, and therefore it was built that way. Goals. Alrighty. So I don't even know where to start with this. All right, so at one point in time, I had the brilliant idea of connecting the facade with these bricks here, right? Little did I know they were unevenly placed, and it would not work, and I abandoned the idea because at the time I was incredibly stressed out. I was having problems. I wasn't figuring out why stuff wasn't working. It was not a good day to be Jeff. So we're going to break all of this down. Break down. I don't know how to sing. I don't know why I did that. I apologize. But as you can tell, none of those walls were interlocking at all, so a stiff wind would in fact knock them over. Which is good, because right now I need to take them down. But that's besides the point. I do believe I made an order to bricks and pieces one day via Lego. And I got... No, Emily. Emily came in through the wind. So she went to the Lego store here in OKC once. And she found that there was like 1 million 1x1 sand green bricks. I think she filled up 2 cups for me of 1x1 sand green bricks here. And yeah, that was awesome. So hopefully tomorrow I will be able to do a little bit more color rather than just a ugly green building with muted, ugly gray building with muted green on the side. I would really like the green to be up front, the gray to be on all the sides. These are just simple plates that you would use to make a floor that don't matter. Yeah, but look at this. Like, this is not how you get an Arby's endorsement, guys. So, much like this, it looks okay. It's not the best. It is a wall. I am going to break this down to make it easier tomorrow when I build. And this is just taking not so long at all. It's just bricks coming off and doing all the things and being all the places. It's wonderful. And like the gray is discolored and it's seen better days. And you gotta use with what you got, all right? Some of these bricks are older than Emily, I think, which is weird, but that's okay. So, and that's another thing about tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I will be making things just a teensy tiny little bit easier on myself. Like I said, the front of the building will be more greenish than it is grayish. The trick is I'll be using 1x1 bricks to create a solid standing structure, which means a lot of clear pieces will be used to hold up said structure. Why? Because I'm crazy. That's why. Alrighty. So, this is all done. This is all broken up. I've got my brick separator in there. Oh, that'd be cool. There's a random piece on my desk. 2 random pieces on my desk. Incorporate those into the build somehow. Ooh, yeah. See how I was prattling on about stuff out front. What is this? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. These are 8. I could do something with these. They're going in the box, Ted. Who's Ted? Don't worry about it. All right. So I really appreciate those of you that stop by to watch it. If you like my stuff and if you like me being how I am, you like and subscribe maybe. Tell your friends. Hey, check out this fat guy as he does things with Lego. I'm not really consistent on the one-night stream, but I am going to try to make it a point from here on out. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be doing at least 1 hour of building, chatting, whatever. If you feel like having a good time, come have a good time and chat it up with me. This is what I'm working on right now. I had to order some pieces from Bricklink. I missed out when this thing came out with the 89 Batmobile. Last year, it came in a micro version of it. So there's a lot of things that I don't have, a lot of pieces, a lot of ways of doing things. So I have had to adapt and overcome. So it's not going to look exactly like The creation, I guess this would be a mod to an existing creation. The instructions are easily found online, so I've been building off that and going off my own as well. If you follow me on Instagram, which I advise that you do maybe for some good times on Instagram, you'll see some progress shots of how I got from where I was to here I am now, as well as some thoughts and some funny things that are said. Regardless, I hope everyone has a rest of the afternoon on this glorious Tuesday. I have no idea how long this thing was. 25 minutes, 0 viewers, knocking that out of the park. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye. Why are there options? There's like options. Do you really want? Yes, I really want to end the broadcast. Are you sure you want to end the broadcast? Yes, I'm sure.